Hello. So, I'm trying to get the gist of this. I'm doing a top 10 worst horror films I've ever seen list. And so I figured I have to review this movie. It's called Slender. It's on YouTube, free to watch. Just type in Slender full movie. I don't even want to watch it because it sucks. But I'm going to tell you. Okay, so this movie came out in 2016. Okay, and I watched it around that time, maybe even a little bit later, 2017 maybe. And I thought it was terrible. You don't see Slender Man other than some guy dressed in a suit that's not really Slender Man. You get the glitches in the camera. It's found footage, by the way. And it just... And the characters, they start off, with good intentions, and then it veers into another direction. And to me, that sucked. So then I went to see that theatrical Slenderman movie, which I've already reviewed. You should check it out. And that movie sucks too. Now this is the first time I've rewatched this movie since the 2 times I watched the Slenderman movie. This movie better, but by that much. Because the very, very, very beginning of this movie sets you up for something that you're like, okay, that could be interesting. And then nothing happens for most of the runtime. Absolutely fucking nothing. But an investigation, it's kind of boring. And it's the last half hour, 20 minutes that actually something happens. And you're like, okay, this is way more enjoyable than that Slender Man bullshit movie we got in theaters. At least the last half hour, 20 minutes. So, like I said, the very, very beginning, it's found footage. It shows a guy, he's on a subway station, there's a woman there, and she's crying out, "He took my children. He'll take everyone's children." And then it cuts. And we get 15 minutes of bullshit of this guy. Because we got to get exposition on, okay, this guy has a camera, he's got a microphone, he's showing his friend, and we got to, set up the investigation. 15 minutes before we go back to that subway station. And the guy talks to his friend about doing the investigation and trying to help this woman. It begins to become a documentary where they're trying to help this woman, trying to figure out what happened to her 2 children. Apparently, they were at school, they went to play in the playground, someone was paying attention, and they were gone. And supposedly, it was a creature with long arms, long legs, and no face. Slender Man. Which, by the way, every time they say Slender Man, there's a weird sound glitch. Because apparently you're not allowed to say Slender Man, but they'll say it. They even mention a video game that you can play, which is that Slender game, I think. Play it on a computer or whatever. But every time they say Slender Man, it goes, because you can't say Slender Man. Apparently they didn't have copyrights or something. I don't know. Anyway, they begin this investigation, and when they go to the woman's house to talk to her, she says that she wasn't on her medication when she was telling the story. About the creature that took her children. She wasn't on her medication, and then she's on her medication now, and she knows better. So basically, this is all for nothing. So, what does this lead guy, I don't remember his name, there's constantly shots where you think there could be something in the background, but never is. There's your standard jump scares, which is never good in a horror film, because there's one good jump scare that I do like, except for in the last 20 minutes, last 20, 30 minutes before that, and that's when they're talking and they're doing like a Skype call or something, and our main guy, he comes up from behind his girlfriend or whatever and scares the shit out of her. I thought that was really cool. Then they do another thing where they have the guy, his name is Ryan, I think, dress up in the Slender Man uniform and scare this other woman. I don't know. So, this is where it starts to get shitty with these characters. Now, our main character, I don't remember his name, but he really wants to help this woman. His friend, on the other hand, is an asshole and decides that he's going to dress up his friend Ryan up in the Slender Man costume because they're going to scare this woman, Millie, to death. That's what he wants with this film to be. He wants to screw the documentary. he wants to make a horror film. So he's going to set this woman up, scare the shit out of her. That's basically what it is. And how does he... So they set it up at her kid's school. And how does he get her to go in there? By giving her a phone call and telling her he's found her fucking kids. That's how he gets her to come there. Is he tells her, we found your kids. That's what he tells her to come there. And at this point, there are other ones that are like, the other people are like, no, we can't do this. Our main character is actually yelling at him, are you serious? You can't do this. You actually told her you found her kids. That's not right. You're just arguing with him, going off on him. And no, it's not right. And then we get to the last 30 minutes of this film, and it gets better. Very much better. So, from the moment that Millie, that's the woman's name, walks in the building, it's nonstop, basically. She walks in. I'm sorry. I gotta shut the window. I keep looking out the window as if someone's gonna be there, but it's not. I know there's not. So, she comes in. I guess she calls the guy, and he says, oh, we're down the hall. Just come down the hall. Come down, except this light that's in the hallway, and then they're watching her because their friend's supposed to jump out. The light goes off. We hear a scream. They go out. She's gone. And it turns out Ryan, who's in the costume, got stuck on the stairs. He was waiting for his cue. There was no real cue because it wasn't ready yet. And he claims that she ran down the hallway and that supposedly they ran past each other. He couldn't see because it was dark and he's wearing the thing on his face. So they begin to search for Millie. And during this search, they start to fucking disappear. And even our main character disappears. So we're following the asshole who set this thing up now. Yeah, I call the other guy our main character because he's actually someone who wants to help. This guy is an asshole, and now we're stuck with him for the last remainder of the film. And he finds his sister, who is our main character's girlfriend, but he finds his sister, and she's like, calm down. And she looks up, and she has eye thing, and weird mouth thing. It makes me laugh, but I do think it's kind of cool. At least something's happening. We never actually see Slender Man. He does find Ryan's costume laying on the ground. And there is one instance where our main character is talking to the sound guy, and he claims that there's still sounds coming through, even though they supposedly don't have the sound on. There's like children laughing, children crying, weird strange noises, and it stops when he mentions it. That was kind of cool, but it does sound a little added in. Like they just kind of added that sound in after the fact, which most movies do, but it really forced. And then, the ending. The ending is possibly one of the worst things about this film. Because it's just fucking stupid. The asshole guy is by himself. He's got the camera. And it goes black and he's holding on him. And he starts to laugh. And he starts to cry. And then it just goes black. And it starts the credits. And I'm just like, that's how you're going to end? We don't know what happened to our characters because they just disappear. Something happened with his sister, but we don't know because he just keeps running. We don't know what happened to Millie. We don't know exactly what's going on. They don't give us any answers to what's actually going on. Through all the investigation they do through most of this film that's so fucking boring, trying to figure out what's going on, there's not one answer given as to exactly what really happened to her kids. And that's because at a certain point in this film, the asshole just gives up on the investigation and decides to fuck with this woman. And that's why we don't get any real answers. And to be honest, I think that hurts the film. As cool as the last 20 to 30 minutes are, it doesn't provide us with any answers. Everybody just starts appearing, and I hate that. There's another film I think I reviewed, Found Footage 3D, where there's hints of something happening through the film, but all the main horror stuff happens in the last half hour, 20 minutes, whatever. And that's it. Here, it's the same thing, only nothing happens through most of the film, and then this happens. At least there was hints in the other one, in Found Footage 3D. Here, there's nothing. There's glitches here and there, but you don't see, like, even in Always Watching, you see the Slender Man kind of Nothing. There's just static. There's nothing really. There's only one time there could be something happening, and it was a prank. So, yeah, this movie's terrible. If you want to watch it, it's free on YouTube. Just type in Slender full movie. You'll get you there. But I wouldn't recommend it. It's gonna go on my worst list, guaranteed. But what I originally had this as number one, now it's probably gonna be pushed up a little bit because I actually enjoy this better than I did the theatrical Slender Man movie, which is fucking terrible. So I'm gonna give this a 5. The last 25 to 30 minutes make up for it. And is it somewhat enjoyable? And you do kind of get into trying to figure out what's going on with this woman and her children. But when that's dropped, it kind of takes it out. So it's a 5 for me. What are your thoughts on Slender? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty. See you in the next one.